I just got off a bus here in Upper Sabanilla, close to San Rafael. I'm going back to Parque del Este. Went there on my first week, but didn't go in. And so that's my plan for the day, and the bus stops before we get there. So, walking from here. A little bit longer to get here than I remembered, but it's a Friday. What else do I have to do? So here is Parque del Este. Oh, here we are. What will we see here? I guess I will find out. Well, there are some leafcutter ants. Those are pretty common everywhere. We have a nice waterfall and pool. So far around here, this seems to be pretty developed with a lot of structures. I'm going to try to see if I can see more natural trails. I guess we'll find out. This is a sendero, and I think it says, "Watch out for falling branches." Well, I will be careful of that, indeed. Well, we have reached some quiet here, which is nice. And this park isn't gigantic, but I think it will give me a nice chance to go for a brisk little walk. That's flying so fast, I wonder, is that a bat? I mean, it looks like the size of a moth, but it's flying so fast, if you can even see it. We've got a staircase up through the forest. It's pretty wet here. I think it might have rained here more than it did where I am. We are entering the dry season, but it still rains a lot, and it does feel humid. So this is a bit of an expert to climb up this staircase, but it is worth it. That did sound like thunder, if you could hear that. It doesn't feel like it's going to rain a super lot though. Oh wow, we have a lot of trails to follow. I think I'll follow this one rather than the stairs. This is the way back to the exit. Don't know if that's a version of the same path that I came in on. And this is to the conchas, which is kind of disappointing. Not what I came here for, but we will see what that means. I imagine this is for utility trucks and every day. You can see there are pits in the road. There are tracks in the road. It's kind of going to be a thing here, so it's going to be a lot of mud and stuff like that, but I don't know if this is where I would be driving cars for several reasons. Oh, there we go. Well, in that direction, if you can see up that way, there's the conchos, meaning the sports fields, the facilities, the parking lot, people having birthday parties. And here's a road back down, one of several. So I'm just going to continue back down here, see more of the natural part of the park. This isn't where I came in, I don't think, so I might be getting a little bit lost, but the park is not actually super big, so I think there's only so lost I can get. One other thing, there is a fee for this park, 1,000 colones, which is less than $2, so that's not a thing. And they actually gave me a wristband. It's like I'm at the club. And I'm sure there's a utilitarian reason for that. And ignore this if it seems like I'm talking about nonsense. Also, to me, one thing in a lot of Latino countries is there's like a little bit of an anxiety or dislike when people do things outside of a social context. And so, in a lot of ways, I think that's meant to address that anxiety. And if that is total nonsense, feel free to ignore that. As I walk slowly down this hill. Case in point, the trail markers are sponsored by Powerade. I don't think I went this way, so I'm going to go this way. And like I said, I have 90 minutes and this park isn't that big, so I can pretty much take every path and just kind of wander around. One thing that's obviously different from me, a lot of times when I'm doing this in parks in the US, I'll give a little speech about the plants we're passing. And here, I have no idea what these are, what families there are. That looks like a monocot, but no, maybe that's That's not a monocot. But obviously that is something we would not have in Oregon. And the only plants that I have really recognized are, we do have dandelion, other cat's claws, other things in that aster family, and then clover at times as a weed. And also rose bushes cultivated. But all of these, not a clue what these are. Well, it seems this trail led me back into more or less a loop back to the conchas, back to the sports fields, which kind of a lot of trails will lead to the same places, where the places where people are, quite surprisingly. And there's a little village of play structures. I don't know if those are for barbecues or for kids to play, or if those are to shelter from the rain. I'll probably follow this road, since following a road might get me somewhere else more than walking around in circles on muddy paths. So let's see what's down this road. And yeah, I did come from right up there, so I just made a little loop around. Okay, I'm gonna walk down here. Back to where I came in. That gate over there is pretty much the portal, climbed up there. And so now, as far as I know, this is all open, so I'm going to see what's across this little bridge here. As mentioned, there's some type of cat's ear, so yeah, we do have those weeds growing here as well. There's this little creek. It's starting to rain a little. I could hear the sound on this tin roof, but sometimes rain on a tin roof sounds really loud. So for now it looks like it's just a drizzle. I think this way would just maybe lead back to where I came from. There are some other picnic structures. And then this way maybe more of the same. Let's find out. So one thing you can tell, you know, we did go through the forested part, but that in general this park has a lot of structures, a lot of improvements. Kind of surprised, because I thought it was a little bit bigger. I thought it'd be more like a natural park. So nothing wrong with parks with structures and improvements. But one thing is, in San Jose, this is about as natural as it gets. The rest of the parks are even more cultivated, so there's not really a place where I can have a real natural experience that I've found so far. Not for any extended length of time. Dead ends, there's a barbed wire fence here, and here this looks like it just dead ends. So I'm gonna just walk around a little bit more, but what I've shown you, as far as I know, is the majority of the park in Parque del Este. So walk around a little bit more, and then I'll just return home. It's a Friday, and I've seen what I need to say, or seen what I need to see. Here's this little channelized creek here. It goes under a culvert for going up down there. Not actually familiar with this bird. Probably should be. One thing that you might have noticed, and that I've noticed, not a lot of wildlife here. Even insects, which you'd think there'd be a lot of insects. I haven't noticed a lot of insects or spiders or anything, which is kind of good. No centipedes, no cockroaches. But I was hoping to see more in the way of wildlife here. This is a nice little bird. Also, one thing to put into context, that, you know, this park has a lot of structures and costs money to get in. Those are my first memories of going to a park. You know, when I lived in Battleground, and I would go to Battleground Lake State Park, there was a food bar and snack bar, showers, that kind of stuff, playground equipment, lots of structures. Also Louisville Park, which hopefully one day I'll be able to make a video about. So it's not like the idea of going to a park and there being structures and it being, you know, oriented towards social activities is totally new and different. It's just that here that does seem to be almost always the case, or more often the case. Okay, well, I've wandered around, saw some butterflies, and now I'm probably going to be returning back home. Been here about an hour, you know, so I'm just going to continue on my way. Okay, let me take that back, because I've returned to near the entrance, and I walked up the roadway this time, and here we have another, well, it's the soil is slippery, walk with caution, and árboles con ramas quebradizas, trees with split branches. So we have like just another little path here, so I'm just going to follow this little path because I still have at least another hour. So let's see if there's something I haven't seen before that'll maybe take away some of my criticisms. So when I make a video, I have to decide on a thumbnail, and right now I'm deciding between this mysterious bridge, rickety looking bridge that's just a log in the middle of a forest, or maybe I'll just go with the picnic shelters, because both of those are ways to look at this park. Let's see what's across this bridge. Oh, this isn't just a log, this is a piece of concrete with some popos on it. They are clever that way. Now this is more to my speed. Ooh, including the bridge is rickety. Okay, this feels like adventure. I've said many times, sometimes I have to be careful for my good and the good of others, that I'm actually on a real path. I don't know where I am now. And this is the first time I've really been amazed. Look at that. I think that's bamboo or something in the bamboo family, which it's outside of my normal experience of plant life. Look at that. Okay, this is what I came for. Look at what that's like. I think this is a cul-de-sac. Okay, so after a short while, I think this is the first trail I came in on and that I looped around. Let's just follow the loop. That diversion was pretty short, but for whatever reason, sometimes I've said this before, you're in a park and blah, 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 and then just suddenly you feel that magic feeling. And crossing that bridge for me, that just did it. Like, now this all seems so magical. You can feel that rain picking up outside. You can hear it. Not a big concern for me. Oh, I don't think it's going to be a cloudburst though. Don't think it's going to be a thunderstorm. I think this is what we call normal rain in Oregon. But yeah, it's just probably a sign that my trip here is sufficient. Time to return home as I walk down these stairs. Actually, I'm going to put my camera away and I'm actually going to focus on walking down these stairs. Interesting. I did not see the Casa de la Bruja here. I have seen that in Portland, of course. I am walking out of the park again. So one thing also to mention, of course, my camera work is magic. And of course, this place is exotic and different. So that park might have looked more extensive and mysterious and exotic than it was. And it wasn't terrible. I mean, I saw some good stuff there. But also, if you are in Pacific Northwest, and you get to visit parks there, like compared to Minto Brown, for example, in Salem, that's a pretty small park with a lot less nature. And also, like, I didn't see any reptiles or amphibians, which I'm glad I didn't get eaten by a boa constrictor. But in general, maybe I just don't know where to look. But like, not really a lot of biodiversity compared to a lot of what I'm used to in parks in the Willamette Valley or in Washington, where you can go to a nature park and you don't have to pay to get in or anything like that. And it's just a normal part of life. And here, I really have to look. And I'm sure Costa Rica has extensive, gigantic national parks, but in the city, your options are pretty limited. So if you are in a place where you have natural parks you can go to, sometimes just in your neighborhood, appreciate that. Anyway, time to walk down this road. I'm going to return home. So thank you for watching.